morning, everyone. I feel like this is going to be another vent post, so I would ask that we watch it or not. Acknowledge this is, I say full disclaimer, not medical advice, not looking to convert anyone. This is just a way for us, for me at this point, to cope with some of the challenges associated with being trapped in this system that we can't really get out of. And I would say the medical system. You've heard me criticize the industry before, and I realize that there are a lot of different experiences in this, but this continues to be a source of frustration. And given the severity of getting this wrong, that then leads me to be angry. So this is my attempt to let it out. I'm going to call this post policy over patience, because I feel like that model again and again and again is what essentially what we're handcuffed into. So the question that kicked us, first off, also is swear warning. Few things make me swear like talking about my mom's oncology team. Like I have to be very deliberate about not hating them. So I have to wonder, so like, do you just not know? Are you ignorant? Or do you not care? Are you apathetic? Like, are you negligent? Because there's a certain period of time where you can be ignorant, but after a certain point, like, you need to know that you need to know. And if you're not smart enough to figure that out, then that puts you in the negligent category. So this is a vent post. I'm going to call it policy over patience. I think the other model that comes to mind too, if you've ever seen Dodgeball, I think it was like Ben Stiller, we're like, this is the Globo Gym, right? This is your standard of care. You're going to get these predictable and abysmal results off of these people telling you we're the best and we know it. Like they'll tell you they're the best and then watch you die. They'll graciously funnel you towards the trials that they run so that they can continue to get their $45 million a year in funding for trials, right? Like I have no patience for these people. And here's another example. I talked to my mom about integrating PET scans with her CTs. So she gets a scan every 3 months. She had her last one in January, so she's coming due. I said, hey mom, like, can we get this into January of can we get this into 2025, maybe the next one? So she inquires with her team, hey, can I get a PET scan? And the response was, we don't do it typically because insurance doesn't cover it. And so it would all be out of pocket. So then, okay, the logical next question is like, well, how much is it? Oh, well, it's $4,500. Now this is in the MyChart chat, so like, $4,500 out of pocket. Oof, okay, yeah, that's pretty steep. But from the patient's standpoint, right, the value of staying ahead of this and knowing early if we need to make drastic changes again in our household, like we want to know early, not after we've let this thing fester for another year, and now we're back to square one. The value of the PET versus the CT, according to experience, right? And of course, my mom has since pulled up, I'm so proud of her, she's since pulled up information from NIH's website that talks about the value of alternating a CT with a PET scan. I have friends whose cancer did not show on a CT, but did show on a PET scan. Like, why are we going to bury our heads in the sand and then just wait for this to be horrible and then put my mom through all this chemo and other like horrendous trauma of chemo and active treatment again? So this like, we're just going to ignore all of the labs, all of the like, we're going to ignore all the warning signs. We're not even going to look. We're just going to wait for this thing to come back. We're going to hope that we're lucky and it doesn't. Like, oh, I'm not looking for hope and luck. I want a plan. I want to address the limitations of the system. I want to, like, I want my mom to live. Like, there's all these, like, pretty important things in here. And I'm smiling because I'm angry. I either want to just break a window or slash some tires. Like, this just makes me so... Okay. But, so that's what they said. Insurance won't cover it. $4,500 out of pocket. Therefore, we don't schedule it. So again, like, at what point were you going to ask the patient, hey, we have this if you want to pay for it, right? And the answer is never, right? You as long as you don't have any independent thought, as long as you're not a critical thinker, God forbid you do any research on the internet and actually look at studies or websites, right? You're just get on this conveyor belt and hopefully you live, right? That's the model that we're in. That we're in. Maybe you're not. Excuse me. So turns out, of course, my mom does some digging because I'm like, well, we probably want, like, again, like, are you in this category? You've got 2 clear scans, maybe, right? Like, 2 clear scans is good, but, like, are you one of those people that, you know, it's coming back and a pet could have caught it early, right? Who knows, right? Unless we pull our heads out of the sand. Or pull your head out of your ass if I'm gonna talk to my oncologist or my mom's oncologist, because, like, get your head out of your ass and fucking do your work, do your job, help your patients beat their cancer. Like, I'm so angry. So the answer is, again, my mom has 2 insurances, so she's got United Medicare, right? Like, so something as widespread as Medicare, and her oncology team is giving her wrong information. Right? It's because her insurance does cover it for this condition. So wrong information. So is that, again, negligence? Is that lies? Is that, like, are you just don't know and you're going to just, in the military they would say, like, oh, I'm a graduate of MSU, right? Make shit up university, right? Like, so, like, these people are a part of MSU. They're just making shit up to essentially get my mom to stop asking questions. Like... This is the model again and again. Like, I'm going to just tell you just enough to make you do more work so that eventually you'll stop trying to get what you need, right? Rather than just giving me what I need, you're just going to make more work for me and make me spend extra time, extra money, external labs, primary care, like all this. Like, you're going to obstruct our health goals is what they're doing. And that again, policy over patients. Like, what is your policy on communicating with patients? What is it like? I would think that an oncology team would have some idea of what insurance would cover for scans. And you know what? If you don't know, we're all on our own learning journey. Why don't you just say, you know what? Let's check. I'm not the best person for that question. Why don't you check with billing? Right? That's also okay. Here's check with billing. They'll be able to give you greater fidelity on the answer to that question. But no, instead, insurance doesn't cover it. $4,500. Stop asking questions, basically. And again, that's just not good enough. Like, you want to tell me that you're the best? Oh, we're NCI designation. People come from all over to come here. We're the best. Well, show me the fucking stats. People, like, show me the stats. You want to say you're the best? You want me to believe that you're the best? I know your mahogany desks and your beautiful buildings and all this money that you get from your $45 million a year in trials that you run. You want me to believe you're the best? As soon as I look below surface level, you're rotten to the core. That's what I see. And again, like, do they not know? Do they not know that they're that bad? Like, I truly am not the first person to, like, ask these questions, right? Or have my mom ask these questions. So I think back to some of these other, like, policy and procedural things that are, like, in my mom's best interest. Like, hey, when you're done with chemo, in my mom's case, round 3 of chemo, like, surgery should be scheduled, right? She shouldn't have to email you to tell you that she's done with chemo and, hey, what's the timeline on the surgery? Oh, after your 3rd chemo. Yeah, my 3rd chemo was 2 weeks ago. Did you look at my notes? Did you look at my records at all? Like, when am I getting? Oh yeah, we need to get you scheduled. Yes, thank you. Please schedule me for my surgery, so that you can remove this cancer from me. Hopefully, um, having your port flushed. Right, it's supposed to be done every 8 to 12 weeks. Not a whisper. Right, so she's done with chemo. Not a whisper. Until I tell her, hey, Mom, you need your port flushed. And then she asks, and like, oh, well, yeah, we should, it's every 8 to 12 weeks. Okay, that's great, because the last time it was used was 4 months ago. 4 months ago. So, you want to set me up for infection? Again, you're obstructing her achieving her health goals, either through negligence or straight out deliberate action. The other one, okay, I'm reading through her Lynparza materials that she got. Like, the hospital, we didn't get these initially. She was on Lynparza for like 2 months. Then there was like a switch in the insurance, and then we suddenly get this packet of information on Lynparza. And it says in there that like you need to have labs every 4 weeks, and of course, like, okay, so remind me, Mom, like it's mid-January. When was the last time that you had labs? Right? Like, oh, early December. Yeah, okay, it's been 6 weeks. Like, you're supposed to have labs every month. Do you have any scheduled? No. These people, right? Like, are you in charge of care? Like, do you care at all? Like, I have to, like, what's the difference between ignorance and apathy, right? Well, don't know, don't care. Like, which are you? And in this case, like, are you both? Like, I think they're both, right? They don't know and they don't care, and that is a dangerous combination. Particularly when you're chained to them. So, like, again, we've been through the second and third opinion paperwork. We're gonna revisit that again. So just acknowledge that, like, we have a long, sad history with these idiots. And it's just, I ask for everyone to be vigilant. Like, when are your labs due? When is your surgery supposed to be done? Like, what is the process? What, other things, like, my mom didn't know that she, I want to say, essentially graduated out of seeing her oncologist. So now that she's, essentially 6 months past chemo, she'll see the nurse practitioner that she hates. Oh, you're going to see nurse so-and-so. She's like, the fuck I am? Like, this woman is a moron. I'm sure as hell not letting her, like, do female exams. Like, no, absolutely not. Oh, we have this PA. Like, again, like, where's the options? Where's the, like, hey, like, where's the individual treatment that the website has in size 108 font? Individual treatment from this NCI designated cancer center, right? Like, God, it's all just lies. Right? It's these assumptions that I can't get through. Like, the assumption that they're the best, the assumption that you need them to live, the assumption that they know what they're doing, the assumption that they care. These are dangerous assumptions if you think they're true and they turn out to be false. And we know what assuming does. So, like, I'll give a shout out to the Crispy Cancer website, the 20 questions for your oncologist. That was a very powerful starting point for us in understanding where the assumptions were in her care. So shout out to the Crispy Cancer website. Like, it's worth, in my opinion, it's worth getting. You have to get an account to download the 20 questions, but we've used that 20 questions as, okay, if we're going to talk to the naturopath, like, let's compare our doctors apples to apples. And we're going to look at the same questions and how do they respond? Like, this isn't a gotcha. This is an interview, right? Like, are we a good match for each other as a patient and doctor? But the questions in those, we didn't do all of them. There's some that are incredibly, I'll say, combative in nature, so we didn't do all of them, but, like, it's worth looking at. I would like to start, I'll say another shout out. Like, I know I gripe about some of the negativity in some of the other groups, but in this case, I really should. Again, let's look at the whole picture. They have helped me understand treatment timelines and options like PET and CT, and Vanessa helped me with that too, so thank you. And also like the flushing of the port timelines, like those that I'll say cast a wide net, right? The wide number of responses in a lot of their posts that help me essentially teach my mom and help coach her and help her assume an active role in her care. And that's like, does your port need to be flushed every 8 weeks or 12 weeks? Like what's optimal? What can she ask for, right? And what's required? But labs every month, like we have to tell her people that she needs to do labs, like, I mean, it's just, we're now in the same boat. Like, okay, well, like she doesn't have a scan on there. Like there's nothing in her organization that gives us any confidence that they're keeping track of her and that they care. So I'm thankful. Let's end on a positive note. After all this griping, this event post, I'm angry, but we'll end with being thankful for this group, thankful for the others and all of their experience that they've shared, and thankful that we have the wherewithal to like fight for what we need. We don't want the head in the sand approach, and that's going to require that we that is clear that we have to fight for what we need. So with that, again, happy Friday. Here's event post. If you've got negativity, get it out. Feel free to post or whatever, or like or whatever. But what I don't want to do is I don't want to hold that in. So hopefully you guys can help me get it out. And then if anyone else is holding this in too, then get it out. Let's be angry, accept the emotions, and then move on. So that's what I'm hoping to get out of this. Thank you for your time. Have a great weekend. Bye.